Hello everyone, this is Pooja saying your point CS300. Today I'm going to explain about Web Technology Lab Experiment Second, which is about creating web pages using HTML5. In this we're gonna create a web page which have tables inside which there will be row and that contains some data, that is that link 1, link 2 and all those things. Again we're going to create one more table which have a single row which contains two data, that is one for the video and one for the audio. Again in this thing we're going to create one more table which have three datas. This is like these three columns, and then here you can see the register. We're going to give a username and a password which is connected to the other HTML page. So the moment you give the username and the password and press enter, we're gonna connect with this page. Here also we're gonna create number of tables. In this one, under division tag we're gonna create table and give the input type as like it's text, whatever number, and again here we're gonna create one more division and give the input type. Same we're gonna do for the number of tables. Like in one division we'll create one table, give the input type, close the tag, that's all. So we'll see the code for this. Here you can see that this is the heading, German Shepherd, and all the picture is there, and then we are going to create the table with the width is 100% and height as 10%, and then the row I'm going to create, and the data is all those links I'm going to mention, and then we'll close this table. Again we'll create one more table with height and width as mentioned here, and then we're going to create one more row which have two data, one for the video and one for the video and one for the audio. As you can see, this one for the video and one for the audio. Since we're going to close this tag and we're going to create one more table, we're going to close this table, and then we're going to create one more table which have username. First data is username and password, then other data is that contact one, and the third data is that iframe. So the moment you enter the username and password, it will connect to the other HTML page, as we mentioned that form action HTML page.do.html. So we'll see the next HTML page. As you can see in this, under this division we are creating a form of like a personal detail. The table will mention the height and the width, and the rows as a first name will mention, and in that for row the data will be like input type will be text, and placeholder will like enter your first name. Same with the middle name and the last name, and the date of birth will just input type will be date, and other row which have a age and areas, input type will be numbers, and we can give the minimum and the maximum. Minimum means 18, it starts from the 18 and maximum is 30. We can if the person enters more than 30 will not be taken. Hence same again we'll close this table. The input type will be the radio button, and not button, sorry, name will be gender, value main, like this. Then we'll close this. Okay, same thing with the female, and then we're gonna give the meter thing. As you can see, I will show you later how it like in minimum 0 and the maximum can be 100%. The value is 20, so 20 out of 100. Then this division part will close. We'll create another division which will have the form as the address details, and the table will be have that will mention the height and width, and each row will contain the address detail. Text area will be 50 columns in the rows list, and the input will be text for that city. State will be input type will be text again, and the zip code is as a number. Sorry. the code as a number, so we'll mention the type number. Like this we have created one more in that one this division. Since in this division we are creating one more table. After doing this, we'll again mention that meter part minimum maximum and the value how much we want. The value shows like 0 to 100 is the minimum and the maximum, but the value like the colored part will show the value, like how much the required details has been mentioned above. So again we'll create one more division part, which is the contact information, and that will mention the table height and width. Each row will have like telephone, email, input type. You know that input type will be a input type will be telephone, text, placeholder, all those things. And then we're gonna create meter again for this part. This division got closed. Another division is like education details. This you can see education details. We're gonna create a table for this, and under one row we have this qualification, board, country, all those details. We'll close this thing, and one more row will create to get the input, like the input type checkbox, input type text, placeholder, board and university, input type is text, all those things, and the input type is number. As you can see, the details we have given in the first row. According to that, we'll give the input type in the second row. And here you can see third will be the checkbox input, and the last row will be the again the type date input. Like you can see 10th detail will be all those things as we have mentioned. Yeah, according to that we'll give the input. 12 details same. BTech also is same, as you want the details as we mentioned the first row. And then same with the MTech, and again we'll give the field. Again we'll mention the meters, like how much information we got from that above division. And then we'll just close this field, and then input type we'll just input type checkbox as if I fill the rest of the details. It's like if we fill everything, it's got 100 or 100% in the meter, and then that's all. I'll just be submit the after doing rest of the things. There is a submit button. We'll just submit it, and this page is we're done with this page. And as you can see, if I just run this code, as you can see, during the loading part the song will play. So we can stop this thing. I think because of some browser problem this video is not displaying, but you can listen, the audio is playing. So after this audio will play while loading of the page, and I think because of some browser issue this video cannot be seen. The moment we'll enter the user name and the password, just register, it will connect you with the other page where you have to mention the details as the division tables and the input types you have given. You can see all the details, education details, and the meter, how much detail you have mentioned in this. And the later just to submit this button, that's all. After this click, you just need to put a tick mark over. You have fill all the details and then submit a button as you have done everything. Let's check in validator. As you can see, there is one warning is in the validator, so there is no problem. Thank you for listening. That's all.